Hi, my name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm primarily focuses on family law. Please subscribe to our channel. Today we've been asked, what are the things one should do before filing for divorce? Well, I think the first thing you ought to do is make sure that you're filing for divorce because it's your last resort. Lawyers and law firms are not the first place you go to when you're having some kind of problem. You got a marital issue that's short of divorce, you talk to your spouse about it. Talk to family about it. Talk to a priest. Go to a marriage counselor. Those are the things you do before coming to a place like this. You come to a law firm that specializes in this divorce, the presumption is that you've tried all those remedies and you've exhausted all possibilities, and now you have no option. You have to get divorced. So number one, exhaust your remedies. And number two, if you're going to get divorced and you're concerned that you and your spouse don't see eye to eye on how to divide up the financial aspect of this, maybe you're a saver, maybe he's a spender, or vice versa. If you're worried about the responsibility as it relates to credit card usage, for example, there are certain things you ought to do. If you think that your ex might take the money and go from the savings account straight to the casino and blow it all, there are steps you better take. Remember, money that's in both names, until there's a court order that says otherwise, that belongs to everybody. So it's the wild, wild west in terms of what's going to be with the money. If you're worried that your spouse is going to squander the marital asset just to spite you, you better go. You better take half that money and put it in your own name. Put it in an account that he or she can't get to it. Now, I didn't say take all the money. I said take half the money. You see, if you take all the money, at some point in time, some judge is going to say to you, why did you take all the money? And your excuse that, well, I was afraid she would spend it all, is not going to answer the question that why didn't you take half? Let her spend her half. Why would you take it all? Makes you look like you're overreaching. So I'm not telling you if you take half, you won't be asked any hard questions. But the answer is much more palatable. I wanted to preserve the money, but I didn't want to overreach, so I took my half. Let her have her half, or let him have his half, that kind of thing. So that's something you should do. Watch for the money in joint accounts. Another thing you might consider doing is watching the credit cards. If you've got joint credit cards, remember one thing. In a divorce, we don't just split assets. We split debts. We allocate and retire debts. So if there's no debt, there's nothing to retire. But if you've got a lot of credit card debt, it's probably going to be split in half. So if you think that somebody's going to run up a bill on a bunch of personal items with the hope that you'll end up paying half of it in the divorce, you better get control of those credit cards. You may want to seize the credit cards. Or in the alternative, you may want to lower your limits. Or you may want to call Visa and tell them, I don't want to cancel my account. That'll hurt your credit. I don't want to cancel it, but I want to split the account. I want to set up a user cards for my ex. Let him have that one. I'll keep this one. I don't want to be responsible for that spending. You may be able to work something like that out too. Those are things that you might want to do before divorce. The last thing I want to say is that if you're married for 17 years and you got 3 kids, and while things may not have been great all the time, they're not terrible, and maybe you've been thinking about divorce and you finally decided after talking to your friends that you're going to get divorced, before you do that, I think a conversation should occur. I think you owe it to your ex, soon to be, the decency of a conversation where you sit down and say, look, these are the problems that I have with our relationship. Over the next couple months, I need you to work on A, B, C, and D. I need those in order to keep this going. Otherwise, the model is no longer sustainable. Can you do it? They'll either say, yes, I can, or let me try, or they'll say, no, I can't. If they say, no, can't do it, can't deliver it, then you file for divorce. But at least you know you gave that person the opportunity to try and fix some things. Maybe there are things that can be tweaked. Maybe it's just a small little thing or a series of things that can make the difference in the relationship. If they can't do it, you file. If they can, or they want to try, after so many years of marriage, after 3 kids, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your ex, or soon-to-be ex, and you owe it to the children to try, give the person the opportunity to see if they can be the kind of spouse that you have in mind. If they can't, but they can get close, maybe there's some room for compromise. That's something you should consider before a divorce. If you have any other questions about that or anything else, please reach out. And of course, we'll be glad to help you out.